I guess I'm supposed to put on my mask, whatever. But so, I just met this young lady. My name's Nate, and
My name is Lisa.
so she's here on the sidewalk asking for assistance, and so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in this country. You were talking about like camping prices and stuff.
Oh, off season at KOA for a month is $1,500 to $1,700.
So can I tell you something real interesting, Lisa?
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. In Washington, D.C., people are camping in the city.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they
So-
live under the underpasses. And
No,
stuff.
they live in parks. They're camping
Yeah.
near Lincoln Center. They're camping. There's one camp where you can actually step out onto the sidewalk and look at the Capitol Dome.
Huh.
And so I actually bought a tent recently too, and
Right.
hopefully in the next couple months I'm going to come down and camp in D.C. and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
Honestly, because
Well, here's the scoop. I know a lot of blind people. I've been to 2 blind centers. If you've been disabled since you were 18, you get $750 to live on for a month. That's it. I went on it when I was 25.
yeah,
I don't even make $900 a month.
Yeah.
So, disabled people really are at a disadvantage. Like, you can't get housing assistance in this state. You have to move to the middle of nowhere to get it.
yeah,
Or, like, when I called for housing assistance, they said, you're better off moving to Tennessee. I
really,
said, if I had the money to move to Tennessee, I wouldn't be calling you, you know?
yeah,
So, yeah, it's crazy. And especially this state, you know, it's rough here.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you know, probably one of the biggest problems is you're wearing a Cowboys jacket and you're in like D.C. area. Although you know that whole name is fucked up, and now they had to change the name of the football team. Finally,
Right.
after I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Hi, we're the Redskins. You'd be like, what the fuck does that mean even? You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, I mean, you can just take it anywhere you want with that kind of a terminology
Right.
and branding for a team.
Right.
I'm just playing though, but so
Actually, I think there's more Cowboys fans here than there are Redskins fans.
yeah, but Pittsburgh Steelers fans are the best.
Oh, my mom would love you.
But I don't know. but hey, so nice to meet you. Like I
Nice
said,
to
I'm
meet you,
gonna be
too.
painting across the way later today. If you guys
Okay.
hook up with people, y'all want to stop by. It's the
Okay.
reggae shop over there, whatever. I smoke.
Okay.
And can I see your sign maybe for the
Yeah.
video? Cool. All right, Lisa.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. I used to go sit in Richmond. I recorded the community integration committee, and it didn't really work. But so, what were you saying again there? Like,
Okay, so the NFB a while back, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, when self-driving cars were this big hype thing, they went into Congress and got bills signed that basically a blind person is allowed to operate a self-driving vehicle. That's 10 to 15 years in the future. They don't understand that a car that has sensors on it or a car that can stop is considered a self-driving car. They just don't know. Well, instead of worrying about things that are now, like I can't go in a store, I have to trust whoever's working there or some random person with my debit card. I have to trust that they're gonna make the purchase and not hit the cash back button or something like that. I have to give all of my trust and everything into people that I don't know and strangers I don't know. And
Yeah.
here's another one for you. I went to DMV to surrender my license, and they gave me a form. I couldn't fill it out. They would refuse to help me fill it out. They said they couldn't help me because it was a government form. I had to get a lawyer from the ADA. They went on and talked to him, and they wanted me to surrender my license 4 days before I was going to get on a plane, so I never went and surrendered it. But it's just, I could tell you so many stories of
what year was that? The DMV thing.
the DMV thing. That was 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, I could just tell you so many stories. Like, I have a service dog. He's a pit bull. And everybody sees pit bull and they freak out. He's the sweetest dog. His name
Yeah.
is Cupid.
Yeah.
And he's my second service dog that's a pit bull. And just, I have these cards. I call them my FU cards because they basically say the rules. Like, people say, oh, where's his ID? Why is he not wearing a red vest? And those aren't laws. Like, those aren't mandated laws that a service dog has to have. So it's just crazy, like, what blind people have to go through. And like I said, I have to put my trust in people just to make a purchase at a store, instead of the NFB worrying about that and fixing that problem as it is
Yeah.
right now. They're worried about self-driving cars.
Well, let me ask you this though: if you could make one suggestion, like or two suggestions or whatever, what would be like the main things you would say how to help you out to overcome some of these situations you face on a regular basis?
Well, I guess first of all, public transportation. When I was in Denver, like the trains talk, the buses talk, everything was easy to navigate. Here our public transportation in DC is old.
Okay.
It's old, it's out of date, half the time it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um,
What about that blip stuff? Does that even work? The blip, blip, blip? Or do you, I mean, when you're talking about Denver, whatever, you mean like they actually say cross now, you have 10 seconds, or like what do they
oh,
say?
you're talking the crosswalks.
Oh, I'm sorry, what were you
no,
talking about?
I'm talking like the public transportation, like they call them
Oh.
the light rail out there, but
Okay.
it's basically a metro.
Okay, like a monorail type
Yeah,
thing?
and
Okay.
they talk, like, and the buses tell you the station, like, which you're coming to.
Okay.
And, so that way,
Okay.
it's a lot easier.
So that helps with accessibility a lot of them
Yeah,
things?
accessibility. So if
Yeah.
they would adapt that more, and
Okay.
I mean, another thing that would help out is more assistance for the blind. Like, it's really hard. I've tried to call automotive shops and see if they'll give me a chance. Like, just, I tell them I've gone blind, but I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
And once they asked me how blind. Like, I found one Jiffy Lube where the manager was visually impaired.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and he's like, when I told him I had a cane, he's like, well, how blind are you?
Yeah.
And that was the end of that conversation, because
Yeah.
basically, if I'm using a cane, it's a hazard because I might fall in a pit,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
So can I throw something at you like this?
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the fact that like people who get like SSI or low-end SSDI have to live in poverty, yet we spend maybe $50,000 a year to keep a fucking piece of shit criminal in prison?
jail. Yeah.
How does that sound with you, Lisa?
It ticks me off because I don't get 3 hots in a cot. I get maybe 1 cold,
Yeah.
and I'm squished in a trailer with my husband and a dog.
Yeah.
It's not. We don't even have a couch because all of our stuff is in there.
Yeah.
So we sit on the edge of our table that's down as a bed.
Yeah.
We have about this much room and about this much room, and my dog
Yeah.
wants to be on top of us all the time. So it's all 3 of us.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it just that is one of the biggest things is that like, I mean, if I go out tomorrow and I massacre a bunch of people,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I have about 38,000 of them I'd like to take out. No, there's this
Yeah, I
group
got you.
down
No.
here called the Fredericksburg Wall of Shame.
Yeah.
And this guy supposedly saw me driving. Now, he posted on the Fredericksburg Wall of Shame, took pictures of me and my husband, said that I'm not blind, we're not homeless. And then that
Really?
started a chain reaction where people were
Yeah.
saying, this one guy's like, I know for a fact she's a meth head,
Really?
and they live
So
here.
you're not blind? Like that?
Yeah. I mean, I can
Well, she
see
didn't
that.
flinch when I put my hand. Yeah.
I can see your outline, but I
Yeah.
couldn't pick you out of a lineup.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
see a little bit, but I am legally blind.
So
I'm
what
legally blind.
is it? Because let me ask. So one more thing. So you became blind. You said about 10 years ago, or started
I
going
started
blind.
going blind. Yeah.
So do you think like that is like more difficult than if you could never see? And I'm
yes,
sorry.
it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
you can ask a blind person that from birth,
Uh-huh.
and they'll tell you, I would never want to go blind in the middle of my life because, I mean, I had everything going for me when I went blind. I had my dream Mustang. I just bought an
Oh, yeah,
RV.
yeah.
I was getting ready to buy a boat and
Yeah.
a Bronco.
Yeah.
And I had a 6-figure contract I was getting ready to sign with Mercedes-Benz,
Yeah.
and I lost it all in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And
like,
what about the doctors? Can doctors do anything?
I've had 14 operations on my
14
eyes
operations.
alone. I have a silicone bubble in each eye holding my nerve and my retina together
Uh-huh.
with the hope that I won't lose light sensitivity.
Uh-huh.
But no, I lost my vision from diabetes, so,
Okay.
yeah.
And okay, I'm gonna take it there. How do you feel about doctors that prescribe medicine that causes diabetes, and then they still prescribe it even though it causes diabetes?
What do you mean?
There's a medication called Zyprexa.
Uh-huh.
Zyprexa is also called olanzapine in its generic form. Zyprexa causes diabetes, and a few years back they paid out millions of dollars to lots and lots of people, $100,000 each or more.
Right.
And a person very close to me got one of those payouts. You understand what I'm saying? And they
Right.
were taking Zyprexa. When they learned that I had taken that for a little while, They said, "Oh, you got to stop taking that right away. That caused me to get diabetes after taking it for only 2 weeks." And she's on insulin now for the rest of her
Wow.
life. And
I
thing
never
is,
even heard of that.
well, the thing is, yeah, Zyprexa does that shit, and so I was on that shit for 20 years. I took
Wow.
myself off of it about 2 years ago, and I took 14 months to titrate down off of it.
Wow.
14 months.
I'm
Some
involved in a
people,
lawsuit
some,
against the pharmaceutical.
you know, the thing is, like, it's disgusting when doctors who are supposed to help you actually
Yeah.
hurt you. And the funny thing is like, they claim they don't know what they're doing, but how can they not? And I
Right.
mean, and when the evidence is there, and then they still keep handing it out,
Yeah.
then you understand that there's more going on, and then what they're saying with all this public health stuff.
I'm
So
involved in a
Well.
lawsuit against a pharmaceutical company for pain medication.
that's it. See,
Yep.
and
Basically, they were pushing it, saying it's not addictive, and it was, you know.
Yeah.
And that was the pharmaceutical companies telling the doctors, like, this is not addictive, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if the doctors would have done the research into it, they would have seen
Ca-
what it was.
but-
It
but
was
can we-
synthetic morphine.
but also, Lisa, think about it this way: if you're a PhD doctor,
Uh-huh.
you know the effect of, shall we say, opioids.
Right.
If you know the effect of opioids, it doesn't matter whether it's called heroin or Vicodin or Oxycontin, or
Right.
if you want to go into the methadone realm, all these things,
Right.
they're very, very similar. So if one is addictive poison that you get from your neighbor and the other one's an addictive poison that you get from a doctor, but they have the same effects, how would a doctor say they don't know what it's going to do?
Right.
That's
Right.
like saying, I'm going to put
Absolutely.
salt on my food, but I want it to taste like pepper. It's just
Absolutely.
bullshit. It doesn't.
And it's messed up because I messed up for the rest of my life because of what they did to me. Like, I am on pain medication to this day. I'm not on enough because
Yeah.
they made me so tolerant to it by pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have
Yeah.
a huge tolerance to pain medication.
Yeah.
And I'm literally in pain from my head to my toes. Like,
You know, they do that to veterans too, on the regular.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
On the regular. Hey, look, much love, and I gave you my
Thank
information, so holler if you want.
I will. Absolutely.
Cool. Do you mind if I post this online or something?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
Hey,
you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to
Hey,
meet you,
take care.
too.
Okay. Fist bump.
Stay easy, and
Okay.
I'll get in contact with you.
Cool.
Hopefully in a few months.
Yeah,
So-
I lived here in Fredericksburg for almost 20 years, so.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
hopefully in a few months when my husband gets his disability, we're going to travel around with the camper. So.
Okay, and if you need some advice, I'm a working sentence practitioner, certified through Cornell University, when I still have my full-time gig. So
Okay.
if you have any like basic questions, I can help you. Okay.
Okay.
And that's a serious thing. I got my documentation if you want to see it.
All right.
All right.
I can't see it, remember?
Well, somebody can help you. all right. You know, it's kind of messed up. I'm gonna say another joke like that since you're making jokes like that. I said to this dude, you know, it's a good day at work when you walk past the fella who can't see, the blind fella at work, and he's shredding paper, and you say, hey, what's up, Chris? And he says, hey, good to see you, Nathaniel. And I'm like, okay. You know, like, so
Here's one for you. Have you heard about the new Helen Keller doll?
no.
You wind her up and she runs into things.
It's fucked up. Hey, take care, okay?
You
Hey,
too.
blessings to you, all right?
Bless you.
Okay, bye. How are you able to like get around and stuff and see?
I have a partner, so
Okay.
he's disabled too. We're both disabled, and we bought a camper, thinking a camper would be cheap.
Yeah.
Like we go to a campground off season, so like from November 1st to like
Yeah.
April. Why don't you pull over here and I
Hey,
can talk
look.
to you?
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second.